All right, so welcome again, guys. And this time around, we are going to continue from where we stopped, but very much focus on the agile project management side of things, which is important. Just bear with me a second. I'm trying to see if I can get some light in here because I keep thinking we haven't got enough light. So I'll just see how it looks now, and it actually looks quite dark. So sorry, I'll just reduce that off. And hopefully we can continue. So I hope you can see me. If you can, I'll just go on the Facebook page here as well to make sure you can see me. And then I'll also be looking at any questions that you have so I can answer those questions as well, which will be good. So we're moving on. If you watch the previous video we did, the previous video was very much about, okay, good. So let's do that. So if you watched the previous video we did, that video was very much focusing on the early stages of requirements engineering. And I think, once again, you can't see my face, so I'll just do this quickly. So hopefully that should show my face and you should see me a lot more. Now, one of the things that we did earlier was the early stages of requirement engineering, which is very important, where we were able to kind of create a use case diagram, and from the use case diagram, we were able to identify how the user will interact with the system. From there, we can now start fleshing out requirements, okay? But one thing that's very important is for you to understand the agile environment. I keep talking about disruption. The rate at which new products are coming out, taking advantage of the digital technologies available to us as a result of emerging technologies, is putting businesses out of business, because all of a sudden, disruption. What is disruption? Disruption is when somebody or a new technology owned by a particular business enters into a competitive market, and all of a sudden the customers of those of those existing business in that competitive market prefer to use the new business's product because it's integrated into their lifestyle as a result of technology, and that is digital technology. So that now forces businesses to kind of refocus and rechange their strategy, and then have what we call a digital transformation strategy. Now, when a company is in that mindset, what tends to happen is the speed of delivery is absolutely critical to success. Why? Because if you don't roll out the application that focuses on being a lot more customer centric, whereby your customers prefer to use your products and they prefer to use another customer's product, then you are losing market share. And the more market share you lose, the more revenue you're generating. And the less revenue you're generating. And the less revenue you generate, well, now start looking at your costs and see if you're able to be profitable. If you're not profitable at all, that's what leads to bankruptcy, because obviously you're not making money and you can't pay your staff, and as a result of it, you have to shut down. So companies really right now have to be agile. They don't have a choice. It doesn't matter what industry you're in. We live in the digital age, driven by the digital economy, and you just don't have a choice. Same thing with me right now. Now, I always use this example. Imagine training companies out there having a base in London, for example, and they're hoping that people around the local area will come to their business. All of a sudden, and they're offering project management, for example, all of a sudden they see this video fully integrated into their lifestyle. You're able to watch it on your phone. You're able to learn. It's no different from you being in a classroom. You prefer to do this instead, and you prefer to join our platform and do it online. All of a sudden, that business is losing market share. Why? Because they've not tapped into the digital age, they're not taking advantage of the digital technology available to you. Now, the thing about technology is that when you're looking at digital transformation, you actually have a mindset of acquiring rather than building, because if you can acquire it, why build it? Now, that is where the integration of applications starts coming into place. That's the birth of APIs, application programming interface. But right now, I am speaking French, and I'm going to stop speaking French, because at this point, everyone's thinking, what is this guy talking about? So let's just come back to the basis, exactly what today is all about, which is an extension of the previous session that we had. If you haven't listened to the previous video, just go back on our Facebook page and listen to the early stages of requirement engineering. Today, I will very much talk about the roles that are involved in this area and the reason behind it, and how we can now flesh out our requirements and create our epic stories and user stories and all those lovely things that you keep hearing about that they pay people 500, 600 pounds a day for. You're going to discover how extremely easy it is I hope, and how you can get the skills to actually do it. And then obviously Wednesday, tomorrow, existing candidates are going to be using the tools Jira and Confluence to actually create this, and it'll be a lot of fun. So let us kickstart. So now, I'm hoping I actually have the right marker. Good, I have the right marker. It's actually working because I've been using markers all day. They're actually almost dying off. Now, let's look at these people here. Okay? So these people over here, let's look at them as your stakeholders. Okay? Now, these stakeholders will involve, once upon a time it just involved the business owners. This time around, stakeholders involve the customers, they involve the business owners, they involve third-party parties, and whoever is involved in experiencing value from whatever it is that you're doing. So these are your stakeholders. And you look at them right there. Now, these stakeholders want something. Okay, the business wants to further integrate in the customer's lifestyle so that they gain more market share, and the customer is deciding whether they should stay with your business or move on to another business. So it's important that you figure out what this customer wants. So let's look at our e-work experience platform, because you know the experience is all about work experience. What we do over here is all about work experience. So if you're an existing candidate, just tell me exactly what you hate about our platform or the pain points that you're experiencing. You are a stakeholder right now. So just type it in the comment area. I can read that and I can then identify with that. Or I will come up with a few myself. So one of the things we're beginning to realize right now is that candidates, although they love the platform, the videos are so long. The videos are like 3 hours, 4 hours long. Now, there's a reason for those videos being long. The reason they're so long is because it's always based on a project we're working on, and we can spend hours on that project and you learn, and it has its value. But then the attention span of a human being is like no more than like 15-20 minutes. You know, beyond that is just too much information. So one of the things that this stakeholder is asking for is shorter, concise, bite-sized videos that tells me exactly what I want and tells me exactly how to go about doing it. I would then go ahead and get involved in the project. So one of the major improvements is actually improving the videos and making them structured, putting them in a structured format, whereby as soon as I finish listening to this, it takes me to the next video. So someone has just said something, and someone says, the live project tab, I want to be able to set a goal where the project is always, so like, oh gosh, I can't read what you're saying. So like a bar that shows if they are 50% or 20%. Oh, good. So the progress, what you want is progress on the project. So this project, for example, is 70% complete or 50% complete. That is a feature. So let us now come over here, okay? Just come over here and now say that, and now what's happening here is it's a good thing that you're doing that. So look at what just happened there. You just told me what you want this system to do. Please, somebody else, just tell me what you want the system to do. You know, contribute, because I would actually go away and actually work on this. So now, we do need somebody who understands the vision, who understands the business, who understands the customer, understands the business, and also works closely with a solution architect to find a solution to that problem. That person is who we call the product owner, okay? So this person over here is your product owner, okay? He's responsible for taking this vision and working closely with the development team to actually make sure that it's delivered, okay? So this person now gets all the needs of this customer in the form of what we call, and I'll just put that over here, user stories. Stories of how the user will use the system, okay? So I hope that is making sense. Now I want you to kind of look at it from this perspective, and this is very, very important, okay? You just said that I want to be able, so as a user, based on what you've just requested, as a user, I want to be able to see the status of a project before I join it. That is what you've asked for. So in order for you to see the status of a project before you join it, this product owner is going to have to take that feature and turn it into a user story. As a user, I want the videos to be structured in the form of my learning capabilities, and I want them to be short, bite-sized videos, making it easy for me to learn. That is another user story. As a user, I want to know what role suits me best, and I want to specialize only in those roles that are relevant to me. That is a user story. As a user, I want to assess my knowledge and know and confirm that what I have learned is actually, confirm that I know what I have learned. That is another user story. As a user, I want to engage with specialists in the area of my area of interest. And that is another user story. As a user, I want to be assigned to a specialist who's already in the job market, who's doing extremely well, who will guide me through my CVs, my cover letters, and help me to apply for work. That is another user story. As a user, once I've secured a job, I want to be able to join the group of alumni based on the area of specialty that I have chosen and secured a job in. That is a user story. So all of these user stories are now is now obviously prioritized by this product owner, which is absolutely critical to success. Now, so who is this product owner? The product owner really is the guy that understands the users, understands the business, is able to marry the business needs with the user needs in order to establish value. This product owner over here has to have what we call, has to know what the knowledge value is and what the customer value is. Now, what do we mean by knowledge value? We're talking about, so when we talk about knowledge value, so let's come over here to knowledge value, okay? So the knowledge value is very much, what is the knowledge of the business? What is the knowledge of the technology? What is the knowledge of cost? What is the knowledge of benefit? What is the knowledge of the team and what they can do? Okay, those are very important, critical areas that needs to be that the product owner has to know. Then the other area for him is the customer value. What exactly does this customer want? How? What exactly does this customer want? And how do we meet the needs of this customer at the right time? Bearing in mind that you have to kind of make sure that it's in line with the business value as a whole. So this is very much the product owner, and he sits down and prioritizes these user stories based on the most important thing that needs to be delivered in line with immediate business value, mid-term business value, and long-term business value. So that is what we call our minimum viable product. Give the customer exactly what they need right now, and then we'll continue to evolve. We'll continue to the system will continue to evolve as we add the next most important thing onto the system. That is the product owner. Now, what I always tell people is, I'm a bit worried. Now, why am I worried? Because slowly companies are beginning to realize that the product owner also can do the project manager's job. So if a company is trying to be lean, I've seen companies whereby their product owner is their project manager. I hope it makes sense. And it's quite crazy. And the question is there going to be a wake-up call one day whereby project managers will evolve into product owners, where there is that product knowledge, that domain knowledge, that business savvy understanding and the ability to relate with the technical team who can deliver it? Okay, maybe not now, but something would happen later in the future. Something that you have to be aware of. I always tell people, I will understand the trends in the market, know how to easily evolve so that you don't get yourself into a position whereby all of a sudden you're out of work because you just don't have certain skills. Okay, so now that's hopefully you understand the relationship between the stakeholder and the product owner. If that is clearly understood, please just in the comment area, if you can type in the comment area, I understand it and I can move on to the next stage, which is very much looking at the prioritization of work. So please do me a favor, just type in the comment area, which is I understand KG, move on, then I can actually move on. Okay, now in order not to waste too much time, if you have any questions, feel free to ask the questions. Okay, this is an opportunity for you to interact with me and learn. All right, so now that we have that sorted, let us now move on to the next stage, and I'm going to move over to this area over here. Okay, and I am going to sit down over here and I'm going to say that, okay, the product owner has got a list of what the user wants. His job is to now prioritize all of this, okay? So what does he do? He creates what we call a backlog of all the user's requirements, and then he prioritizes those backlogs based on the most important thing that needs to be done. So you will now have, for example, this user story, prioritized based on immediate business value and obviously mid-term business value. I want to see that you can actually, I want to make sure that you can actually see what I'm doing there. If you don't mind, I'm just going to move this thing up a bit so that you can actually see a lot more. Don't worry about my face, worry about the screen, okay? So, just make sure that that is done. Quickly, 1 second. Yeah, so you can see that. I'll just do that a bit more again. And then hopefully you can see a lot more now. Okay, so now that we have that sorted, what now happens is that this goes over to what we call the dev team. So let us now identify the dev team over here. Just put them over here like this. So the team of developers who are going to build this application, or what you call your cross-functional team, very lean, focused on delivering the actual work that needs to be done. And their job is to obviously focus on exactly what has been given to them based on priority. So for example, we can decide that we're going to take this first feature, user stories, and we're going to actually go ahead and build this. So we will now take these two over here, and then we'll go through the process of analysis, design, develop, test, deploy. And then maybe you started with one of it here. So this one is in analysis, this one is in design, and stuff like that. And obviously they deploy the whole thing, which kind of makes sense in terms of delivering it. So what now happens is that when we now deliver to the customer, the most important thing the customer wants, which is minimum viable product 1. Okay, which is not the entire system. And that's the good thing about this. The good thing about the Agile environment is that you can build in bits and bobs. You can focus on the most important thing that you need to do and deliver just that little bit to that customer. So you're looking at a 4 to 6 weeks period where you say that, okay, within the next 4 to 6 weeks, what exactly are we going to deliver to customer, which is the most important thing. You deliver that minimum viable product to the customer reviews it, and the customer comes back onto you and say, you know what, and this is where communication comes into place. So there's a very, very there's a consistent communication line between the product owner, between the stakeholders, between the development team, and they can give their feedback. And as they give their feedback, this product owner reshuffles the backlog. Where he needs to make updates, he makes updates. Where he needs to move on to the next most important thing he needs to do, he goes ahead and does that. And that is the repetitive development process by delivering on an incremental basis. So we build in bits and bobs and deliver on an incremental basis, making sure that the most important thing we're delivering to that customer is what that customer needs right now. Giving room for feedback, giving room for changes, giving room for flexibility and adaptability. The product evolves to end up being a working software that the customer actually wants to use, which is absolutely critical for success. Now, the question now you may be asking is, KG, where does the BA come in here? Where does the PM come in here? Well, that's a very good question that you should ask, because at the end of the day, we train you to be project managers, business analysts, product owners, quality assurance managers, PMO analysts, project planners, and the list goes on. So this product owner, okay, needs to work very closely with the BA. Why? Because the BA is the one who's going to translate all of these user stories into technical requirements. Remember when we talked about the BA being the translator and the communicator? Okay, he's going to translate that into technical requirements. Now, there's a new role that has come up, okay? And that new role is what you call the Scrum Master. All right? Now, the Scrum Master his job is to protect the development team. All right, to make sure that these guys are focused on exactly what they need to deliver, make sure that any issues that they're experiencing are being addressed, make sure that any blockage, any thing that's stopping them from achieving what they want to achieve is being addressed, and more importantly, keeping them motivated to keep on with the work. The Scrum Master is not the developer, the Scrum Master is not the tester, he's not the business analyst, he's not the project manager, he's more someone you call the coordinator, kind of the facilitator, who makes sure that everybody knows what they are doing within the Agile ecosystem. Okay, then you now have that lovely project manager, okay, whose job is to manage the timeline, to manage the budget, so that's the PM, to manage the budget, to manage the resources, all right, and to manage the overall benefits. And you will find that he will work closely with the BAs, work closely with the product owner, and sometimes there's a confusion between their roles. Sometimes a product owner might overstep his boundary and be very much heavily involved, or a product owner who knows exactly what his job is very much is focused on value, the knowledge value and the customer value, and making sure that the team are delivering exactly what it is that the customer wants and being able to prioritize what needs to be done next. The project manager is responsible for managing the agile development process in terms of the timeline, the budget, the resources, tracking progress, knowing exactly what based on what has been prioritized by the product owner, implementing it, making sure the team is implementing it. While the business analyst's job is to translate these requirements into technical requirements, work closely with the BA, and also communicate back with the product owner to make sure that we're delivering a working software. So very much, if you think about it, the product owner is very much about build the right product that the customer actually wants. Okay? Then the team is about building the product right. So the BA, the PM come together and say, look, let's build this product right, let's get it done. And then you can say the Scrum Master comes in to say, you know what, let's focus on what we need to do, make sure that nobody is distracted so we can get this delivered very, very quickly. So now you can now ask yourself, where do you fit in? This is why I recommend that everybody goes onto our platform, careerinsights.tv, and take a personality test. Are you a project manager? Are you a business analyst? We're going to improve that personality test to actually start defining, helping you to assess if you are actually going to be a product owner as well. Or if you should become a Scrum Master as well, because those are two things we haven't factored in there. But we can take the test now and discover whether you're a project manager or a business analyst. And that's careerinsights.tv. Start my free trial and you can take your test straight away. Okay, now that we have an understanding of what's going on here, one of the things that we now need to do, which is very, very important, is to now ask ourselves one very important question. And what is that important question? Well, the important question is, we have a product that a customer actually, we have the needs of the customers. We've broken them into stories of how the user will use them. We've been able to hand it over to the development team. We're going to go through a repetitive development process and deliver on an incremental basis. However, one thing is absolutely critical at this stage. Exactly how do we know what the user stories are? Okay, how do we create those user stories, especially relating it to the eWork experience platform? So that is something that we are now going to do next. Okay, the areas of actually learning how to create epic stories, user stories, and define features as a result of it, which is obviously where the BA comes into place. But let me not forget someone also that's very important over here, and that is what we call our solutions architect. Okay, the solutions architect is someone that works very, very closely with the product owner. Why? The solutions architect understands the technology, understands the business, and understands how the technology can meet the needs of the business in terms of being a lot more customer-centric and delivering a product that customers actually want to use. So you will find that the product owner would always discuss very closely with the solutions architect, and the BA will work also very closely with the solutions architect as well. They really come together to flesh out requirements and come up with a solution that actually works for the customer. So for example, I'll give you a typical example. Let's look at last year where we wanted all of our candidates to easily be able to attend a meeting and identify when meetings are being held on the eWork experience platform. Well, first of all, does that mean we're going to have to create a conference application ourselves? Remember, part of digital transformations culture is to acquire rather than build, which means that we are interested and open to the ideas of APIs, application programming interface. Well, that's the job of the solutions architect, to go out there and discover the relevant technologies out there that can help us achieve our objectives, be aware of the emerging technologies out there, and then look at the value it adds to the business, and then how we can now understand how to integrate it. So the solutions architect goes out there and says, hey, well, you know what? There are many tools out there, but GoToWebinar is a really good one. Their API is extremely open. These are the features that they have. This is what you're trying to do. We can identify how these features can help us achieve our objectives. Then we go ahead. Then the BA comes and goes and flesh all that requirements out. But bearing in mind that the product owner has had a user story, which is, I want to be able to view meetings and I want to be able to attend meetings without leaving the eWork experience platform. That is the story. That's the user story, the value to that customer that the product owner has gotten. He then works closely with the solutions architect to come up with that solution, the BA translates that into technical requirements, and the PM manages the whole process until we deliver it. So the question now is, who are you? Are you a solutions architect? Are you a business analyst? Are you a product owner? Are you a project manager? Are you a Scrum Master? Who are you? And I think by getting your hands dirty in the project, calling into the session, tomorrow on Wednesday, you and kind of seeing how these things are done, you start to discover who you are, get your hands dirty, make mistakes, learn, discover what you like to do, discover what you don't enjoy doing, and specialize in what comes natural to you. That's very much how experience is built. So I'm going to look at the questions that some people have posted, try and answer those questions, and then we'll pause for now, and then I'll create another video that now moves towards creating the epic stories, the user stories. I want to make the videos very short, so it's very easy for you to digest, understand, and then we can then move on to the next one. I hope that makes sense. So let me quickly come over and look at the questions that you may have. So I have here from Nayari. I was just telling KG what feature I wanted on the dashboard. KG understood it because he asked for us to give feedback. He could explain. Okay, good. And then Oludare, I think this is dependent on the software you're using to plan your task. For some softwares you may need to purchase premium service. Okay, I'm not too sure what conversation you guys are having. Totally out of scope within what we're doing here. The live project tab, okay, that's a question that someone else had there earlier. Okay, that's good. Now, actually, you know what? I don't mind actually continuing with the epic stories and user stories. If you want me to do, just indicate that you want me to do that, and I'll do that straight away. You know, without actually waiting. So just say carry on, and then I'll carry on. If not, I would create the next video later on so that you guys can listen to it. So I'll wait a few seconds. Once some of you understand exactly how to post comments, because I think some people always say, "Oh, how do I post a comment?" I think it's in the video as it's live. Under it, you have the option to type your comments. Type your comments in there. Hopefully, it comes up here live, because I tend to see the comments later on rather than live, which is very annoying. I'll just refresh this, and if I can see it, great. If not, I'll just pause it and I'll come back later and I'll actually do the recording for you on the user stories straight away. Okay, so let me see. Okay, I think making it short is cool, but you have... All right, so I understand that making it short is cool, but do you want me to continue is the question. If you want me to continue,
there is no incoming call.
I understand, thank you. If you want me to continue, I continue. If you want me to cut it short now and create another video, that is better. That's what I want to know. So just type it in the question, in the comment area, then I can actually know. Okay, someone has, okay, a break, fantastic. All right, so we'll pause now, and then we'll come back later on, and then we'll continue. So we'll come back in a few minutes, and then we'll continue, okay? So making it short, bite-sized videos, so it's easy for you to pick up. So go back and listen to that later, guys. In the meantime, we'll catch up later. Oops, someone said please continue. All right, now I have, look guys, so we're not wasting too much time. I'll have one person that said please continue. I have one person that says break. So come on guys, let's make your voice known so that I can either continue or take a break. Right now I have one person says continue, I have one person says take a break. Somebody said pause. All right, so we have more people saying pause than continue. So what we're gonna do is pause, unfortunately, because the highest vote actually wins. Exactly, everybody says break. Okay, good. So we'll take a break. I'll be back very, very soon, and we'll continue.